I'm going to Watches and Wonders, and here's everything you need to know about Watches and Wonders 2025. It's the Super Bowl of luxury watches. It's the most anticipated releases. It's the secret insider leaks to first-hand coverage. My name is Sharf. For those of you that know me, I've been doing this watch thing for over 20 years now. If you like this type of content, make sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share. What is it? This is where all brands get together in a big expo center, spend millions and millions of dollars on their setup, setting up some of the most amazing setups year in, year out, trying to outdo each other, and where they usually show their novelties. It is also a place for ADs and dealers to come in and place their orders while looking at the new novelties. When is it? It's April 1st through the 7th. Take that with a grain of salt. April 1st through the 4th is open to those in the business only and to the press. It's the 5th, the 6th, and the 7th where you as the public can go into Pali Expo and you can look at those watches. But don't be to what I'm looking for. Discouraged, because you should get there early, because outside the Pali Expo, you have what they like to call the pirates. They pirate off of the main show and they set up in various hotels like the Four Seasons, like the Bon Rivage, where you have smaller independent brands that will set up in separate rooms, separate halls, where you can freely walk through free of charge and get your hands on some of these other brands that don't choose to display in Pali Expo. All the other brands that have boutiques in town or shops in town like Urwerk, they do this at their own shop. So you get a chance to visit the actual shop, which is absolutely amazing. Some of the newcomers, Armin Strom, Bulgari, Christian Vanderklaw, if you haven't heard of them. He was a guy that was famous back in the day when I started. He was making watches out of silver cases. Genesis, Cross Studio, remember those guys that made that whole Star Wars thing with the watches coming out in little things, and it was just absolutely amazing. Montblanc, HYT is another among the newcomers that are gonna be displaying there, right? And the only brand that's not returning is Beauregard. Not a big loss. My most anticipated brands to see. I'll be seeing a multitude of brands. I have appointments literally lined up 2 to 3 to 4 per day, back to back to back to back. I'm excited to see what another year has brought to Ulysse Nardin. Tag Heuer. Why am I excited about Tag Heuer? You guys know I'm a big Formula One fan, and nowadays just took over Formula One. Now instead of Rolex, it's Tag Heuer everywhere. I really want to sit down and put them to the wall and say, guys, what are you doing for Formula One? Give me something exciting. Who is not going to be at Watches and Wonders? Well, first, all the Swatch brands. Breitling is in there, Richard Mille is in there, Audemars Piguet is in there. Gerard Perregaux is not going to be displaying. F. Bijourne is in there, but F. Bijourne is in town. You can actually even go to eat at his restaurant if you'd like. Let's talk about the past, Basel World, which is the show that I used to go to a little while back. Now that show had over 1,500 exhibitors from like 40 different nations, over 150,000 visitors, and got it started way back in 1917. Now, take the 1,500 exhibitors with a grain of salt, because it wasn't just watches. It was a lot of jewelry dealers. In fact, we ourselves could have displayed in Basel World with pre-owned watches, vintage watches, and jewelry as well, and a lot of guys did that. 2020, they had a fallout with Rolex and Patek and moved to SIHH, and SIHH is where you had Audemars Piguet that was displaying, and some of these other brands like Richard Mille that I said that are not part of Watches and Wonders. And it ended shortly after Rolex and Patek left, and now we have a new show, Watches and Wonders. Okay, so how did Watches and Wonders come about? 1991, SIHH, which is Salon International de la Haute Horlogerie. I'm sure I mangled that. They basically merged with Watches and Wonders, and Watches and Wonders was previously like a traveling multi-city event, and that's how Watches and Wonders came about. How old is it? 2013, 2019, it was a multi-city show, and 2020 became what it is today. It's in Pali Expo, Geneva. Pali Expo is basically the convention center that's adjacent right to the airport. Last time we were there, I booked a room at the hotel at the airport. You can walk through the parking lot and you'll be in Pali Expo. Very convenient, but getting a room there, you gotta book it 7 years in advance. There are smaller events, like Shanghai events also occur each August and September. It's a bit smaller than the one you see in Geneva, obviously. And no, you cannot buy watches there. Although, some of these smaller independent will gladly take in somebody from the retail public, and if they're showing a particular watch that's still available to order, they will gladly take your orders. You're not walking into Rolex and buying a Daytona, I promise you that. I am excited for my trip. In fact, I'm leaving tomorrow morning. I'm gonna do my best to bring you angles that you don't see everywhere else, because everybody in their mother and watch world will be covering this. I'm gonna meet with some really exciting people, and I'll bring it on to you on camera. Other than that, thank you for tuning in. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.